Well, the meetings in Canada come as Mark Carney has been sworn in as the country's new Prime Minister.
I, Mark Carney, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty, King Charles III, King of Canada, his heirs and successors. True allegiance to His Majesty, King Charles III, King of Canada, his heirs and successors.
Mark Carney, who is a former head of both the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, swore allegiance, as you heard that, to King Charles in a ceremony in Ottawa. Shortly afterwards, it was confirmed he's going to head to the UK and Paris for his first overseas trip, rather than the United States, as is customary. Well, it all comes, of course, as Canada faces a tariff standoff with Donald Trump. Mr. Carney says he currently has, quotes, no plans to meet Mr. Trump, but will do so at the appropriate moment. Here's some of what Mark Carney said specifically about working with the US president.
I look forward to speaking with President Trump. Just to be clear, we respect the United States. We respect President Trump. President Trump has put some very important issues at the top of his agenda. We understand his agenda. We understand the importance of addressing the scourge of fentanyl, which is a challenge here in Canada as well as the United States. And I would say that the measures that have been put in place in recent weeks in Canada and Mexico, also the United States, means that we are making tremendous progress. I'll speak specifically for Canada against fentanyl. We understand the importance President Trump places on American workers and American jobs. We want him and his administration to understand the importance we put on Canadian workers and Canadian jobs.
And build a new world order where democracy and Canadian sovereignty is protected.
Mr. Carney, you're up next.
I'm going to associate myself. I'm going to agree with that. The only amendment I'm going to make is, unfortunately, it won't be a world order. It will be a subset of the world order because the number of like-minded countries is much smaller with the U.S. exiting.
You see, Satan is always trying to prove God wrong, and he always ends up being wrong. But because of Babylon's ancient hostility towards God and God's word and God's people, they have become the perennial symbol from that point forward of the worst kind of moral and spiritual and ethical corruption. They become the face of false religious worship and idolatry. And just as her progenitor, Nimrod, sought to create a religious system that replaced God and to seize through deceit and violence control of the nations of the world, we are told that in the last days there will arise another religious system under the control of this one world government, but it will be empowered not by men, but rather by Satan himself. A system that will be so intoxicating that it leads people away from God, leads them away from his word, and stands in direct opposition to his profound and stated creative purpose for mankind. That basically a religious system that is based upon violence and self-worship and immorality and idolatry.